Good. It's nice. The sun's actually out. Geez, been only 7.5 months of winter this year.
I know.
Yeah, careful
now, but let's not get too excited because it could be snowing by 8 p.m.
Yeah, it better not. The forecast for the weekend is great. A lot of good racing going on, especially here on the Front Range. And life is good. It's good to see you. I'll see you this afternoon on ESPN Radio, AM 1600 here in Denver, and streaming around the country and around the globe at racecentralmedia.com. So it's going to be a fun day. Sun's out, guns out, baby.
Yeah, and of course, if anyone's new listening, I forgot to mention this. My name is Sydney Corra. I'm a producer for Race Central on the radio and, of course, this podcast. I'm sitting virtually right next to Kurt Hansen, longtime motorsports insider. Kurt, what's going on around here in terms of racing this weekend?
Okay, so I want to start with kind of my lead story because I think it's we talked last week on the program a lot about the announcement of Bandimere Speedway closing, and I know from being out last weekend at a couple of events up at Colorado National Speedway, practice was going on there, and then a tribute to a young man who was a big fan favorite at the track and son of a gentleman who was our flagger a few years ago, and it was just it was a big day to get together and talk to a lot of people, and the hot topic was Bandimere Speedway. Now, as we talked last week in the program, I knew this was coming, and then a day or two before the final announcement was told that, hey, it's pretty much a done deal. Obviously, we didn't share that because that's how you get information, is by not, being that guy. And I've been that guy too many times in my life, so we're just going to stay away from that. But to follow up that story, to kind of reset, the track will be closing at the end of this year. Their last national event or pro event will be the Mile High Nationals this summer. All the amateur racing and sportsman racing and stuff is still going on throughout this business as usual till the end of the year. Now, when the Bandimeres came out with their statement, when it was officially announced, they said they had been looking at property to quote unquote relocate to.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that was, there wasn't a lot of, it was a big, broad, brushstroke, which I totally get. I learned last weekend that, and I had some reservations about that because, Sporty Bandimere, who's a track operations manager now, and his kids are growing up. He's got, a wonderful family, senior, John Bandimere Sr., is retired, wants to play golf. He doesn't want to be out there, prepping racetracks and moving cones and putting up, no parking sign. It is a lot to unpack for not just a regular weekend, but a national weekend is moving an army. It takes a lot of work. So what the future holds, in that announcement, they never did say, though, that if we find property and reopen, we will have a national event. They just said we're looking at property to reopen. Now, to unpack that suitcase, I found out last weekend in talking with people that are very close to the situation. I'm just going to leave it there. But allegedly, they've been looking at property in 2 different counties here just outside of Denver. I'm not going to mention the counties. I don't want them to get inundated with phone calls or stuff. And I certainly don't want the Bandimeres to. But they were looking at property in 2 different locations. And it was raw dirt. They'd have to develop it from the ground up. And things were just kind of slowly rolling along. And they weren't making, from what I understand, a lot of progress with one of them, but some progress with the other. Well, the day the announcement was made, which I believe was, I think it was last Thursday, because we talked about it on Friday. From what I am told, allegedly, the one county they were close to immediately reached out, and allegedly the Bandimeres were in meetings with that county most of the day. Again, it could have been Thursday the announcement was made. Could have been Friday. I don't remember. It might have been Friday. Too many things going on in this empty space up here. But so that's what I heard as of last Sunday, is that they were trying to progress on very quickly with this particular county. Who knows? It's like dating. You go out you go out with one chick, and all of a sudden the other chick finds out, and all of a sudden the other chick, wants to see you 24/7. So it's just kind of how it works. Called the boy-girl theory. Girl doesn't want boy, yeah, it is. It's a real thing. As soon as the guy says, honey, you're okay. Honey wants to be, the
So
one.
You think Bandimere's playing the field like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just business. I mean, they went to these people and said, hey, this is what we want to do. It's up to the county to be professional and respondent. Well, listen to me talking about city government being professional and respondent. Yeah. Hello, Denver. We'll see what happens. But again, allegedly, the person that spoke to me, said that the plan was to actually start turning dirt. And in the world of development, the term turning dirt means as soon as the bulldozers roll, something's really happening. Mm-hmm. So if the whole thing falls apart later, who knows? But that's kind of what that term means. Yes, my dear.
What would be the point of them? Why do they have to close their original property? What?
They sold it for probably billions of dollars, and good for them. They've been there for 50. They opened the track in 58. I'm 65, so I guess 65 is the number, huh? I'm not very good at math, but
what's the point? Just to start over anew somewhere?
Big money. I mean, that property is super desirable. It overlooks the whole metro and beyond. You can, see to the end of Kansas. It's a great location. I don't know what's going to go there. People ask me to speculate. I'm guessing probably, $1 million condominiums and some type of mixed-use retail platform where live here, work here. You go downstairs, there's dry cleaner, restaurant, grocery store, gas station. I mean, it'll be kind of like we live, a self-enclosed community per se, which is a great idea. And the houses across the street, those $1 million homes over in Solterra, have been complaining for years, even though they signed a document when they bought their homes, that there are X number of race days a year at Bandimere, and there's going to be noise, and they check the box. But like any contract that's signed, it's meant to be broken. And they've been leaning heavily on Bandimere about the noise for the last couple of years, but even more so. Yeah, a lot of people don't know is the NHRA was putting a lot of pressure for them to increase the size of their platform because they had kind of outgrown it. I mean, it's like putting, 3-year-old diapers on a 10-year-old kid. It just don't fit no more. So, but I'm sure they got a lot of money, and good for them, whatever they want to do, but they will not have professional racing in 2024. I mean, who knows? This is all speculation. The plan is to be open for the amateurs and for track nights and all the other great stuff they're due to do a Tammy Bandimere's Race to Read program. And so it may ultimately be just a club track, for lack of a better description, which would be great because there's so many racers here in the Mile High. Yeah, the new track could be just for a long time just a sportsman track, no pro events. Who knows?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, what if they're planning to do something like bigger and better than anything in the area, like the new
the new shiny girl on the block. Yeah, they could be. I mean, I've also heard rumors that they might be building or attempting to build a multiplex. So maybe they have a dirt short track, they got a drag strip, maybe they have some type of small road course. But this is years of development and tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars. So
what would it be if
and then the time
race here in Denver?
I'm saying again.
How cool would it be if NASCAR could race here in Denver?
Never going to happen.
Why?
Ever. Boy, now you're really going, you're digging deep. There were two entities that have tried to build a track here, in proximity of the metro for 20 years. And the last effort that, had a snowball's chance in hell, all the new people that moved to Commerce City. Mm-hmm. I like it when your city has such a bad reputation, you create a new zip code and call it Reunion. So they created Reunion, and the racetrack was going to be out by DIA between Reunion and the airport. Mm-hmm. Great location. But back then, this was 8-9 years ago, there was no infrastructure there. I mean, it would have been rough. But now, I mean, Stevie Wonder could drive there. But the people in Reunion, they all got together and called themselves NIMBYs, not in my backyard. They said because NASCAR fans have a truck with 3-ball tires, a wife beater T-shirt, and a pig, and drink. They're all alcoholics. They don't want them in their backyard.
Oh yeah, well it's because it's so nice in Commerce City right now.
Reunion's not actually bad, except that the wind blows like 40 to 90 miles an hour every day. But I mean, I drive through going to the airport, but it's actually not a bad area now. I have a friend of mine who owns a business out there. He's doing very well. A lot of new money and young people live out there. I mean, it's actually quite nice. But that racetrack, and I've said this before on the show, Kansas built a track, and their 2 dates every year brought about $150 million of revenue into that kind of west metro of Kansas City, and now there's their own city there, and it's actually pretty nice. So, but that's not going to happen. I mean, it's just not going to happen. But I wish them luck, and it'd be really neat if they did build, if there's nothing else, an amateur track, and maybe because it's going to take so much infrastructure and stuff to have an NHRA Pro event. A lot of work, a lot of money, a lot of time. The rumor says maybe they'll have a pro event in 2025. I think that's even a stretch. But we'll see what happens. Maybe they have a nice little dirt oval and maybe a small road course. I'm drawing with my finger off camera. And then a really cool drag strip, 1,320 feet of a cool drag strip. Well, 300, the first 300 is cool, but, a nice true quarter mile with big long runoff, and off we go. But who knows? It's a pretty interesting story. It sure shook a lot of people up. Again, I knew it was coming. So, in the back of my mind's eye, it was just like, if not today, how soon? And sure enough, soon happened really fast. It went from rumor to, hey, Kurt, they're not taking any pro dates in 2024. And then next day, they're done.
Yeah.
We'll talk a lot about it today on the program. If this goes up before the show, tune in at 3 o'clock Mountain on ESPN AM 1600 or streaming at racecentralmedia.com or on our site, Denver Sports, our broadcast partner, number one, Colorado Broadcasters Association, number one site in Colorado, and 1.2 million, 1.5 million uniques a month, and things are very good at ESPN and FM 104.3 The Fan. Hallelujah.
Exactly. Yeah, Denver Sports absolutely killing it.
That's why you work there.
Yeah,
you're the producer extraordinaire.
If you're listening to this and you don't know already, but you may have heard of Denver Sports or 104.3 The Fan, we're affiliated with that because Race Central is on ESPN 1600.
Which is their sister station, Bonneville. It's Bonneville. I mean, little company. They own like 600 radio stations across America or something.
Yeah. So, Kurt, what are any core memories or favorite memories or moments down there at Bandimere?
Well, he said that's a great question. It was when I started my company back in 2000 in the San Francisco Bay Area. Much like here, we're the only motorsports radio and television show in the market. So we, of course, gained a lot of traction very quickly. And Sears Point Raceway, which was initially called, then Infineon Raceway, NHRA event, NASCAR event, IndyCar event. I mean, really a premier track in America. So I got introduced to the NHRA in, I want to say it was 2001. And started developing relationships very quickly within the NHRA, and then they decided they liked me. Who knows why? And so because their longtime super popular announcer Bob Fry was getting ready to retire, and they kind of knew that was happening. And they had some TV people from what was called Speed Freaks. Crash Gladys, great gal. Her husband, Kenny Sargent, okay guy, and they were getting ready to transition away from that and bring in a guy that'd been their club announcer, sportsman announcer, Alan Reinhardt, and they wanted to try me out, 2 weeks in a row. So they brought me out to the Mile High Nationals, and I remember going there and doing some announcing and all that good stuff. And I was at the lower parking lot at the end of the day on Sunday, and the sun was setting over the hogback. I remember looking up there going, and I just started to date my now wife of 20 years, but I didn't live here. And I looked around, this is when it didn't rain or snow 10 months out of the year. And I went, maybe not a bad place to live. Here I am. So that place has a lot of meaning for me emotionally, personally. I've done a lot of great events there. I love working with the NHRA. The Bandimere family is wonderful. Subsequent of that, I moved here about a year later, and then John Bandimere Sr., of Sporty's dad, who was the track operations manager and the father of Tammy, the president, asked me if I would be part of the Colorado Motorsports Hall of Fame selection committee, which is pretty nice honor. All these people didn't know me very well now they all hate me, so I get it. So the place has a lot of me. It's part of my 21 year, I guess, 21 year heritage here in Colorado, and we've been on the air consistently. The longest running motorsports show in the country, but been on the air consistently here on radio and TV for 21 years. So yeah, it's a big part of my career.
So what ultimately brought you to Denver?
The woman upstairs in the office working, God bless her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Nicole.
Oh, so did you meet her in California?
Oh boy, here we go. Met her in Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. The city where all great relationships are formed, right? At least for an hour.
Derek Wolf.
What's that?
Derek Wolf met his wife in Vegas, and now they're both
here. Yeah, I know. Yeah. We won't go that way. But yeah, I was there doing a national radio show for ESPN because I had a national show Saturday nights on the Sports Leader. That was KMBR's tagline, but most powerful 4 letters in sports, I think they call it. Anyway, that's ESPN. I was doing a national show for the NHRA there at the ESPN Zone. Great place. It's gone now. But they have a huge bar. I mean, when I'm talking huge, I don't know if you ever went to the ESPN Zone downtown. You probably didn't because you were 2 years old. But it was 3 times the size of it. Gigantic. I mean, 1,000 people in there at least. And, tiered levels. And they had a studio for radio and TV that was mobile. They would roll out of the wall. And I would sit in a big circle glass thing with my producer engineer, you, to my right. And the whole restaurant could see me doing the show, and they would simulcast it on closed circuit on all the TV, not all the TV, but most of the TVs in the bar.
Oh, that's cool.
And I was getting ready to head up the racetrack. And my good friend Ted Yerzek, who at that time was communications manager for Don Perdome Racing, who then went to the NHRA and is now with our good friend Antoine Brown. You'll see him this summer. We'll sit he and Justin Ashley's hospitality. By the way, Justin is on the show today.
Cool.
And I was getting ready to leave, and Ted Yerzek called me and said, "Hey, it's raining at the track. Don't bother, because we're going to lose the racetrack. And once you fire the engines on a race day, it counts as a day. So if you refire them, it's 2 days, and you don't want to do that. So nothing happens. Everybody stands around and tells war stories. And so I was just kind of sitting there at the bar watching CU football, and this very attractive lady walked in with a guy I thought was her boyfriend. Looked kind of like your dude. And I went, oh, God, she's beautiful. But that's probably her boyfriend. And then she turned and ran, and the bar was jammed. And I was sitting there watching CU, ironically. I've always been a CU football fan anyway. But all of a sudden they call this party of 10 guys that have probably been drunk for a week to their table. And they all get up and place swamps. And there's a seat right next to me, and the dude with my wife, who might be her cousin, comes and says, "Can I sit here?" Sits down, we start talking. He's a professor at CU. And I'm like, "Where'd your girlfriend go?" And if Nicole knew I was telling this story right now, Sydney, you'd hear a herd coming down the step beat my ass. And we started talking. I said, "Where'd your girlfriend go?" He said, "That's not my girlfriend. That's my cousin."
Oh,
The rest, as I say, or as Paul Harvey would say, Paul Harvey's, and that's the rest of the story.
well, God bless her, because if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have Kurt Hansen here in Denver, blessing us all with his motorsports knowledge and
Yeah,
witty sense of humor. Witty might be a stretch, but
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I've heard that before, Sid. You're
well,
probably wondering why I'm wearing a yellow Menards Vision Racing
I was wondering.
Nike. Yeah. So, because in 2006, I think it was, I was a guest of Tony George, who owned Vision Racing. Their family also owns Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Well, they did till they sold it a year ago to Roger Penske. And the team was Menards, and Ed Carpenter was their driver. And they invited me, and I got to sit in the Holman suite right out exit of turn 4, inside, beautiful inside suite, and outside had my own golf cart. And because Johns Manville, which you can see here, Johns Manville was their co-title sponsors. Johns Manville is based here in Denver. Confluence, go to Indy, had a ball. But I'm wearing it because we are in the month of May here in hours. And there's a little thing that happens in Indianapolis in May called the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indy 500. And this is to honor, because last night I saw the sneak preview of 100 Days to Indy when I was in Long Beach, a private invite dinner, the whole deal. And had a lot going on out there, but I saw it and I loved it. But I didn't want to talk about it until the whole world got to see it. And it premiered last night on the CW, which is basically Channel 2. It's really good. And I commend Roger Penske and everybody at IMS Communications for putting this together, because it's different than Drive to Survive, about Formula One, which we all watched during the pandemic. I don't think I even knew you during the pandemic. Were you doing my show then? I don't think so.
Well, I was, but you were doing the show remotely from.
Yeah, sitting right here, right there on that couch. Yeah, watching Rockford Files with the volume off. Yeah, so it's really good. Now, and everybody said this at the end of the preview, it's just got a strong Roger Penske lean. They talked about two top teams, Penske and Ganassi, probably 70% Penske, 20% Ganassi, and then 10% of the rest of everybody else, but probably more than that, maybe 5 of that 10% about Andretti, which they should. I mean, Romain Grosjean was on the pole in St. Pete, should have won, got crashed out by Scott McLaughlin, a Penske driver. And Kyle Kirkwood sat on the pole in Long Beach and, boat raced everybody. So, yeah, it's good. And there's a few more episodes next Thursday, 9 p.m. Montana time. But it's very good. It's very entertaining. And my wife loves racing, but not like me. But she watched last night. She goes, "That was really entertaining." So that's what they want to do. They want, Nicole's probably a tier 2 fan. Like, she loves to go to the racetrack for about 20 minutes and then, see ya. So, because she likes it, but then I have to do my thing and she gets bored, which I get. But, this is going to reach tier 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the trickle down. And I believe that it will draw interest, especially for the Indy 500. And they're expecting the largest crowd in the history of the 500 this year. Long Beach Grand Prix had the largest crowd in the history of the Long Beach Grand Prix for IndyCar. Texas, the crowd was rough. St. Pete, massive crowd. I mean, it's, as I've said the last couple of years, it's trending very well. They got a good TV package, and 100 Days to Indy is really good. And I would tell anybody to watch it. Maybe. No, it's on regular TV.
Okay, yeah.
Channel 2, Next Star Media.
Yeah, I'm sure once it's done premiering, they'll probably offer it to a streaming service.
It's streaming today for free on their website.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, I mean, they get, I mean, and at the end, Penske Entertainment, hence the very strong Roger Penske promote. But it's it feels a little promotionally, but it's supposed to. But it's really good storytelling and takes you maybe even more than Drive to Survive, more into the drivers' lives. You meet their wives, their kids, their dog, their cat, all the silly stuff. I mean, it's more about storytelling and the lifestyle and the life and the day of a driver than Drive to Survive was. A little bit of that, but a lot of untracked craziness and motherfucking and backstabbing and stuff like that. Yeah. It's a good feeling. It's going to do very well. At least I hope so.
Well, anything to spread, viewership and awareness of motor racing and IndyCar, I think is sick. So that's cool.
Yeah, this is not the coronavirus of IndyCar racing.
Yeah.
This is the anti-serum.
Yeah.
but so we're not doing cooking with Sydney today. You dropped the ball.
Well, I've been eating out. So
what have you been eating?
Just bad stuff. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, there's a delicious food truck. As you know, my boyfriend owns a food truck here in Denver. It's called R&B Tacos and Grill. So if you're listening, make sure you check it out because they have the best tacos. But there's another food truck.
Really?
Yeah.
Why doesn't he come by and feed us one day at the station? I'll put him on the air.
How much do we pay him?
What? Are you kidding me?
Dude, he's booked and busy. What can I say? He's booked and busy.
Popular guy.
Anyways, so he knows all the good food trucks. So
good for you.
We like this food truck in particular. But I will tell you, last night
you went at a steak.
I made a good healthy meal, and I made wild rice, Brussels sprouts, garbanzo bean, like chipotle roasted garbanzo beans with a tahini dressing on top. So that was pretty good.
But hence, you will bring a tube of green goo to the station this afternoon.
Most likely, yes.
Most likely.
Yes,
okay.
But I'll tell you what.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, right. I always try to buy Sid something from the Bonneville Deli, as I call it. And last week, I said, no, I'm fine. Towards the end of the show, I hear this crunch. Cat's out of the bag, kid. Here we go. Doritos, now on the vegan list. Obviously, I said, Sydney, vegan? Busted.
You know what? Sometimes I cheat on things like that.
Yeah, that's good. That's all right.
But you know what? Even though you just outed me, I'm gonna pack you up a whole thing of the best, and you can come out to the truck anytime. But we'll pack you up like a sampler of all the best tacos, birria tacos. Yeah, we'll pack you up something and give you a little taste test.
So if you could do that on a Friday and it'll keep overnight, I'll take it up to Colorado National Speedway for the races and feed the people in the tower and hand out his cards.
Do they do food trucks at up there? No,
it's just hot dogs, hamburgers, greasy stuff, funnel, all the stuff that'll kill you that I love.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
yeah,
anyway,
you're not kidding. Oh.
Speaking of Colorado National Speedway, it's our last topic here. You are going to be the 2023 track announcer officially.
Yeah. So I will kick off, and I had a lot of fun doing Joe Bellum's ASCS sprint car show down in Calhoun a few weeks ago. Sammy Swindell, got his backed it up from the year before. And I do a lot of announcing, and I really enjoy it. And I announced at Colorado National Speedway probably a decade ago, and then just got busy, and the track ownership changed, thank goodness. The guy I worked for before was not a good guy. And I was at a charity event a couple of months ago, and Jim Norhousen, the track owner, comes up to me and says, hey, I've been meaning to talk to you about this for a while, but life goes blah, 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 blah. Do you want to be my track announcer this year? So we've kept it kind of under wraps because the guy that had been in the last few years, good guy, not a bad announcer, but has never raced, doesn't really understand stuff, can't really read the racetrack or read the situation. That's something I'm brilliant at. And so I'll kick the season off with Spencer tomorrow night, and it'll probably be 10,000 people there.
Nice.
I've got some clients coming, put them in the VIP beer garden. Huh?
Tomorrow? Oh, maybe
you want to go?
Yeah.
You have to tell me because I leave you tickets at Wilco. I'll leave it under Sid the Kid. But you gotta let me know. So I get up there at 4. Racing starts kicking off at 5, national anthem and stuff. And we'll go to 9 o'clock. A great show tomorrow night. Grand American Modified, super late models. It's going to be a hell of a show. And I'm really, really excited. I'll do 35 Saturday nights this year. A lot of work. Guess there's no more Saturdays in my. I do the race show Friday night. Sleep till like 10 on Saturday. Yeah. Start drinking green goo and taking vitamins. And then do anything. But I'm excited. And the website's ColoradoSpeedway.com for more information. We'd love to have you come on out. Love me, hate me, whatever. It's going to be a hell of a show. The weather, it's going to be like 72 degrees tomorrow. It's going to be perfect.
Yeah, that's so cool. I'm so excited for a summer full of fun stuff like that.
Finally, and I'd love to have you guys come up. So seriously, and you better eat before you go because you can't eat anything there.
Okay. Well, if they have funnel cakes, I will. I am a sucker.
Oh, so they have, and they're good and they're huge, but they do have cold alcohol.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Well, Kurt, what a great way. We're just right here rounding out the show at 30 minutes. So we're ready to get out of here. What a great way to end the show on something to look forward to. But we're not done for today. We are going to be live on ESPN Denver 1600 from 3 to 5. So make sure you tune into that. That's every Friday, no matter what. In case, but maybe not every Friday in case of special circumstances. But yeah, everyone, thanks for tuning in. This is a great episode. Kurt, it's great catching up with you, and I'm really excited. Hopefully get down there and see some racing tomorrow.
Yeah, you look great, kid. Good to see you. Love to have you come up, and I'll get you up at the tower. You can kind of see how, because you run the insanity on the other side of the glass, as we say in our world.
Yes.
You'd have a lot of fun because my plan is to get Sid the Kid up there and do about 6 features a night, do 6 Victory Circle interviews with the winners. So make that happen.
Well, fingers crossed for that because that would be a great opportunity. So
it's my call. I can do whatever I want. I'm Kurt fucking Hansen.
Kurt fucking Hansen. All right. Well, we'll catch everyone here next.
We need t-shirts. We had PFM. We need KFH.
Kurt fucking Hansen. Yeah.
We had PFM. Pete fucking man.
Kurt fucking Hansen. All right.
That'd go over well.
Well, that's episode 16. 17. And Kurt, I'll see you in a couple hours.
You got it, kiddo. See you, everybody. Tune in.